point in time, if you guys were to question my sanity, this is it. What's the plan? I don't really have one. I don't know the best way to go about jumping into this, because there's going to be a lot of scrutiny, and for good reason. This is not a nice vehicle. This is a 54 Chevrolet 3100. Obviously it's been chopped, so I mean that's one of the cool perks about it. It's chopped and it's missing sheet metal, so that's perfect. The doors don't open, kinda, so this is missing, which I'll never find. 54 Chevrolet 3100 sitting on a S10 chassis. That's nice. It's got disc brakes on the front, presumably drum on the rear. It's got a 4.3 in it, Chevrolet, so that's going for it. It's a 5-speed. Didn't know this till a minute ago, but it's 4-wheel drive, which is kind of a kick in the pants. I don't even know that my air ride stuff will work. I don't even know if you can lower a 4-wheel drive. A lot of uncertainties. I think I was caught up in the moment, which happens about very often. So I guess at this point we can just kind of walk around it. Let me get you over here to the hood, and I'll open that up and show you this gem, so to speak. I'm gonna step in front of you. So I already put the injector on there, the other injector, and it runs way better. Still got a miss, but there's a lot of vacuum lines that are off. Like literally, this is wang dangled. It's thrown together, and I mean that in the, it's wang dangled, okay? If you can see up here on this firewall, they just cut the windshield, the A-pillars off of the S10 chassis, cut the floor out of the 3100, and just set it on there. Then they put angle iron down the frame rails, like big chunks. Angle iron just burned it on, so it's kind of holding the body up. And then they put stitch screws everywhere, and then spot welded everything. So it's hobcobbled, so perfect. There's no radiator fluid in it or antifreeze in it. I think it's just water. And that was my main thing. I was going to bring it up here and drain it out or flush it or something, because it's fixing to get cold. And I didn't want to crack the block or anything. But it does have the disc brakes. It's got all the cruise control stuff. They did a heater delete, which sucks. So I'm going to see about, well, let me rephrase this. I've already got another S10 with all the parts. That's what I got the shifter out of. And it's in way better shape than this. So there may be some, and it's 2-wheel drive, I know that. So there may be something else we do with this, if we even keep this. I may post it up locally and see if there's any interest and trade it for something different. I got this on a trade, so I'm not out anything on it other than what I traded, and I got a good bit of cash out of that first deal. But it doesn't get any better. It's not, it's cool looking, but man, there's a lot of work. And I'm going to show you the rough stuff so that you guys understand what I'm going to be starting with. If I even keep this, I'm going to post it up and see what else I can muster up. But none of the blinkers work. None of the headlights work. I haven't checked any of the fuses. I mean, literally, I put the injector on here and drove it up here. The clutch is shit. Feels like, actually, the clutch feels okay. It feels like the gearbox is messed up. The transmission. It's just, even the the chop job is rough. I mean, to a point where, like, I'd have to pull it apart just to fix it. And I mean, rough with capital letters. Let me pull you guys off this tripod. I'm gonna show you guys around this right quick, okay? So I don't know about Project Backwash just yet, guys. You see how they got the floor all just stitched in? All the upper dash stuff is missing. See the wiper arm back in there? Like, it'd make better yard art. And my daughter already said, why don't you just park that in the yard and put some wheels on it and lay it on the dirt, which wouldn't be a bad idea, like advertisement wise. Shit, it's rough. If it didn't run and drive, then that'd be a better scenario. But here's the tires and wheels for it. You guys remember those? I've already got the I already got the tires and wheels for it. There's the grill, some homemade jobber. This is the exhaust, which actually works. It's kind of funny. And this is just junk here. This is, Timmy was saying this bed's off something else, you know, 57 or something like that, because the top is flat and this and that. So I mean, it's got some cool patina look to it, but at what point do we want to go ahead and start jumping into? So it's already got a raised floor in it. I mean, there's a few things going for it, you know, and we already got an air ride set up for it. We already got the tires and wheels. So I mean, potentially it could be cool. What I may do is see about getting it running right, like pull it in here, because it's fixing to get cold. I've got whiskey dent in here. I'm going to pull it up a little more. I may go ahead and pull that in here, and over the next few days while it's cold, go ahead and go through all the vacuum. I don't know if those throttle position sensors, and you know what I mean? I don't know what all a 4.3 has on it. This is like a 90 model, so I'll start looking there. But one, if I can get it to run and drive better, I'd feel much better about it. But it feels like the rear brakes are hung up, like the e-brake. I don't know. So we're gonna see about this. But anyway, this is the first little step of a walk around. And as I stated earlier, sometimes I have to question my sanity when I bring shit home like this. So let me know what you guys think. Put it down in the comments. Let's see about it, okay? Let's just put it there. Let's see what happens. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, guys, so we switched gears on this. I'm in the office, and I'm just gonna make a little video for this and tell you where we're at on Backwash. And this is the point where I really need you guys to give me your input and share some knowledge, okay? So, I've had Backwash on Marketplace for, I guess, about a month. And there's a lot of interest in it. Everybody's wanting to, and this is common, I do the same thing. Everybody's wanting to do some sort of trading. A lot of what I'm seeing are river toys, and I'm not into that. Dirt bikes, I can physically see out of one eye, so that's not going to be a go. Sportsters, Harley Davidson, you know, little basket cases, that sort of thing. There was one cool Triumph that was out of town that if we could have made that work, that'd have been cool. There was a Hudson Hornet, a 52 Hudson Hornet, and we just couldn't make the deal work. He's in Albuquerque, which is 4 hours from here. I can't take off the time at work to load up everything and make the trip. Neither could he, so we're not going to be able to pull that off. So it looks like I'm probably just going to keep it. Now, when I did that little walk around video that you just seen, there was no antifreeze in the radiator. Now, I don't know if there's antifreeze in the engine block or if it's water. I don't have the space in the shop right now to put it in there. And even right now, this is that polar vortex that is coming to or through the United States. So I'm in Texas. I'm in the Panhandle, up in the high plains of West Texas, and it is, I think, 4 degrees outside right now, midday, and it's cold. The wind is howling. Well, it's not that bad now, but it's cold outside, really, really cold. So if there's water in there, it's going to bust, and I'm going to find out. Now, with that being said, here's where I stand. If that engine busts, then I'm just going to pull the drivetrain out of it. It doesn't run great, but there's a lot of vacuum lines that are off. I don't know about the fuel filter. I mean, I know very little about it. I know that it runs, and it runs rough. The new injector that I put on there, it's TBI, so it's got those 2 big fuel injectors. The new injector I put on there is doing way more fuel output than the other injector was. And it was so that the older injector was only one working, so it may just need a new injector on that side. But I haven't put any money into it other than the injector. I'm not going to put any money into it until I know. So, where I'm at with Backwash is, if the engine makes it through, then I'll go ahead and get it running good. Okay, better. I don't know about good. I don't know what all it's gonna entail. Still haven't looked at the clutch system. I don't know if it needs a new clutch plate and a pressure plate. I don't know. If it freezes, I'm yanking it out. If it's good, I'm gonna see if I can just fix it and go with it. When I put on the marketplace ad that it runs and drives, everybody's expecting to drive it home, and that is not the case. It runs, but it runs and pops, and I even told several people that were coming to look at it, it's not running good. It runs and drives. You can move it from one side of the yard to the other, okay? But with that, I come across a few things that I think are pretty cool. So that's on a 4-wheel drive chassis, okay? Now, Stay Tuned, which is a channel that I follow, he took one of those S10 pickups, same year model, I think 9091, and he took an Astro van, took the transfer case, the drive shaft, and the front differential, and the axles, they were in that Astro van. He put it in his 4-wheel drive S10 and turned it into an all-wheel drive. Then and this is with the 4.3 in it, then he turboed it, and that thing flat scoots. It's a cool build, and his name is, I think it's Angelo. He's a professional drifter, was a professional drifter. Now he has Stay Tuned on YouTube. But it would be a big, messy job, but man, that would be cool. So, if the engine makes it, I may consider just doing all-wheel drive on it and throw a cheap eBay turbo on there, one of the $600 jobbers. Man, that come out of nowhere. And just do that. Never done an all-wheel drive, and that's cool. Everything that I've done so far on this channel is something I've never done before, which is neat because I am nobody special, and it just helps me figure it out, and this is how I've done everything. I'd rather build it and not buy it. So, as of right now, with Backwash, if I can get it running decent, at least decent to good, I'm going to see about finding an Astro van for the parts. Where I need you guys' help is I know that they said like Oldsmobile Bravadas, there's certain years of that same drivetrain. And if I find something, I need to buy the whole vehicle so that I can take that out, take off what I need, part out the rest, and see if I can make some money back on it or pay for my parts. This is a common way how I do most things. And if not, then if I can just get the drivetrain out of it, then I'm cool with that. But he lowered his S10, looks really cool. So that may be an option. That's kind of where I'm leaning with this. Now, if it's cracked, I'm just going to pull it out. I'm not going to LS swap it. I'm not going to do any of that. It's not in a condition that I would want to do that. If I was to all-wheel drive it, I would just do that just to trash it and tear it up. And that's just what I would do with it. It's not that nice of a truck. It's cool, but it's not nice. So if it's bad, I've got a spot in between the drive that goes to my shop from my front street where I've got a long driveway. It's like 100 yards that goes to the back of my shop. And then I've got a drive that goes up to my house. I've got a huge security light pole. I would just back it up to there, you know, put a mat under it, put flowers around it, and just have it where it's cool yard art. And then post my shop signs on my big security pole that point to my shop, which is at the back of the property. So that's the plan. So what I need from you guys is, have you ever done a conversion like that? What vehicle should I be looking at? The title on that is a 1990 S10, okay? Four-wheel drive S10. Now, if I can get you guys to respond to those two things and kind of let me know, it's sure going to help. Also, let me know if you think it's even worth diving into. It's cool looking, but that's, I mean, if it's going to be work, it's a lot of work. There's a lot of work there, and it's just one of those deals that without going completely into it, the time that I put into it, I'm never going to recoup, and that's just how it is. Okay, so that's one. Let me know what you guys think about that idea. You've seen the truck. It is cool. How cool would it be to have an all-wheel drive with turbo setup on it, and maybe just go do some of those SCCA things that are around here. You know, throw a Ford 9 in it, and maybe even just burn the tires off the gears that's in there. I don't know. Okay, I've got another S10. Okay, it's a two-wheel drive chassis. Now, I've still got all my air ride set up for an S10, so that air ride system would go straight into this new S10. Now, I got it from a good friend of mine, a great friend of mine, and he had it set up as a drag truck, so it's already got a shaved firewall. All the interior is gutted out of it. I mean, it's bare bones. It was going to be a drag truck. It's got 410 posi in it, or 411 posi, whatever that is. I think it's got big studs on the rotors. Some stuff like that, you know what I mean? It's pretty cool. Now, my air ride system will set up for that. Lower class Fab has just done a body drop on an S10, and their tutorial videos are really good. So it'd be easy enough for me to find out and build just a sick mini truck. And if I do that, it would have to be custom, simply because he's already got the dash out of it. I don't know if I'd want to go through a new dash or go through, he's still got all the parts and pieces. So I don't know if I'd want to put it back together or just find a dash out of a, you know, late 50s, early 60s Chevrolet. Just something, a dash that's real ornamental that looks cool, mold it in there, mold the doors, build the skins on the doors. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. Just make a cool custom mini truck. And if I did that, and that's what I would put an LS in. Okay, I have another 400 small block with a cam and some good parts in it. So I could just carburet it, but for what it is, I'd like to have overdrive and a 6-speed. If I'm going to build something completely custom that I actually put some money into and paint and do that sort of thing, I'd want it to be pretty dope. And the S10 has a title on it. It's in really good shape. There's no rust. It's a good, clean, straight truck. Windows, that sort of thing. So that's where we're at on Backwash, okay? That's my thinking. I've got another S10 that I could build a sweet mini truck out of. Now, there are some 53, 52 cabs. There's a 52 Ford extended cab, which I've never seen on Marketplace right now that I could get relatively at a good price. Is a friend of a friend, so he could help me load it, and I could probably get it for several $100. But it's just doors, cab, front fenders, and hood. There's no grill, there's no bed, so I'd be starting all over again, hunting down parts. And around here, You can find stuff, most of it's been beat up on a farm, or they want $6,000 for it as it sits in the field. So we'll find out. So that's that. All right, so let's talk about Marcus's car. I got it up on jack stands. Marcus's car is true and square. So what I did was I put it up on stands, got the wheels and tires off, and dropped it plumb from each spindle down, and then from the center, I took the back lug nut and dropped it all the way down, dropped it center to center, up to the hub, got everything square, and it's square. So it's not sitting cattywampus, which is such a relief. So we may be able to just do some really cool fabricating on it. When Marcus was by here last week, we walked through the dash, and we are just gonna make a cool panel insert into the dash, weld it in. I may take it over to Sean's shop and bead roll it and make some cool stuff. We haven't got that far yet, but that is great news for Marcus's car. It is square. Everything, the front end and the rear end are sitting parallel to each other, and there's no, one's not sitting out further than the other, which is such a relief. So I want to fix the steering on it, build all the gussets on the bottom, get the dash fixed up, come up with some spring seats of somehow, and I've got a good idea on that where he has some cushion on the springs, and the back looks pretty good too. The Heims are in good enough shape to run. They're not new, but they're not chewed up, and they're not seized up, meaning you can turn them and stuff. So we really lucked out there.